I live alone in a busy neighborhood. This incident occurred about a year ago during the winter. We typically get a lot of snow where I live. There was already snow on the ground at the time, and it was very cold. One night as I was home alone, a large snowstorm hit the area as predicted. I was working from home for the next few days, so I had no plans to go out. The snow really started piling up quickly. Each time I looked out the window, there was more heavy snowfall. As it got to be around 7 p.m., there was a sudden knock at my front door. I found this odd since it was a heavy snowstorm. When I looked outside, I saw a young woman standing there. She didn't appear to have a car. From my front windows, I don't have a good view of the street or driveway, so I didn't know where she had come from. She looked to be in her early 20s, but was not dressed appropriately for the weather and just pants and a sweatshirt. When I opened the door, I asked her why she was out in the storm. She told me her ex-boyfriend had kicked her out of his car and driven off. She said she had called her mom, who was coming to pick her up. While I felt bad for her situation, I didn't like the idea of a stranger coming inside. However, with the heavy snowstorm, I reluctantly allowed her to wait inside near the front door. After entering, she unexpectedly walked straight back towards the dining room rather than waiting as asked. I was confused but didn't say anything. When she started moving further towards the back of the house out of view, I grew suspicious and followed. That's when I saw her opening the back door, letting 2 men inside. Here is a rewritten version. As the woman let the 2 men into my home, I could not believe what was happening. My instincts immediately kicked in. I turned and ran as fast as I could down the hallway toward my bedroom and bathroom. I could hear multiple sets of footsteps pursuing me, though they were still a bit behind. Once I reached the bathroom, I hastily shut and locked the door. Only seconds later, someone began aggressively trying to force it open. I could hear several people now crowded outside. Nobody said a word, including myself. When the door refused to budge from their attempts, there were a few loud bangs against it. With my phone, I dialed 911 but did not feel safe remaining in the bathroom. Right after initiating the call, but before speaking to the operator, I hurriedly opened the window. I climbed through it at record speed and jumped down into a snow-covered bush below. I then dashed through the deep snow in my yard, stumbling many times as I tried to flee as rapidly as possible. Managing to regain my footing, I eventually circled around to the street, maintaining my sprint until putting significant distance between myself and the house. Only then could I at last speak with the 911 operator and explain all that had transpired. Despite having no coat and the frigid conditions, I experienced no sensation of coldness due to my intense surge of adrenaline. When police arrived, the woman and 2 men had already escaped. Upon returning to my home, I discovered it in disorder with some possessions missing. Clearly they realized time was limited before authorities intercepted them, so only searched certain rooms. I feel extremely fortunate to have evaded harm, though dread considering their potential actions had I not. Since then, I refuse entry to anyone unknown and have installed additional security measures for protection. I pray a similar ordeal never happens again.